Amazing. So let's start this. This session, it's it's a special session because it's Sunday. It's late on Sunday, but I didn't want to finish working on this without recording this session because I have been working on this, working and thinking about how to solve this issue pretty much all day today, and like thinking about different ways to solve the issue. So what I want to do is I want to show in here for this YouTube agents service that I'm working on. I want to add in here a notification, like a pop-up that shows the user what's going on in the backend, so they can know in which step of the process their request is located at, and like when it goes from one step to the other one. It's kind of what like when you um request food using Uber Eats, like that you can see like the steps that your food is going to go through to get to your house, and you can see like the order was received, the order is ready, it was already I don't know, it was already picked up by the delivery, and it's it's in its way to your home. So kind of like that, like to show the step that the process is at, that the request is at. And there are different ways to do this. One of the ways is to use, okay, so I'm going to talk about 4 ways that I know of, and that I have been working on during this day. And then the 4th one is the one that we are going to be using on this session. It's the one that we are going to be developing live vibe coding in this code that you have already watched in previous sessions. So the first, and it's the easiest one, it's not the one that we are going to be using here, it's polling. So for example, what you do in polling is that you add a loop in here that it's constantly asking the server in which step the process is. So for example, if you want to, I don't know, if you are processing something and you want to show the process when it's finished, but you don't know when it's going to finish, so you start polling. And for example, you ask the server like every 5 seconds, every 10 seconds, every minute, you can ask the server where the process is at, or if it has finished. I don't like that method because it can create a lot of requests, and all of those requests will have you need to process the requests, the HTTP requests. So I don't like that method, and it seems inefficient because it's constantly asking the server and where the server is working. So we're not going to use that one, mainly because I think it's inefficient because of all the requests that it needs to make for it to work or know the status of the process. Okay, so the other one, it's something called WebSockets, and WebSockets it's like an overkill for this, what I want to do in here, because WebSockets are what are used for real-time messaging between different users. So it's a way for the client, the browser, to connect to the server, to send messages to the server, and also the server send messages to the client. And it's a two-way communication because the client can send messages, but also the server can send messages. Okay, so we're not going to use that because it's an overkill. I don't need the client, the browser, to send messages. I just want to be there listening in case there's a change, an update in the request. So the third one, we are also not going to use this one. It's called server sent events, and that is something that I learned today. Like that, how to work with this type of events. And basically you add in here like an instance that it's called um, event source. So you create this event source and you are asking a URL, an endpoint. You establish a connection, a live connection with the server where it can get updates. This is different from WebSockets because the client cannot send messages to the server. Just the server can send messages to the client. And it was kind of working when I was making the tests. When I was trying to make this work, it was kind of working. The issue that I had with it is that, as you can see, it looks like you need to okay, so work on different listeners, event listeners like this, but also you need to have like an endpoint. So I didn't want to. Maybe I could do it with the endpoint that is already being used with this fetch in here. Maybe it could be done. I didn't try it, but since it looked like I needed to have another endpoint, and then the issue is not having another endpoint. The issue is it looks like an overkill to send in the server, send information from this request to this endpoint just to send the updates. And also there were other issues, like for example with here, you had to be really cautious, really careful, sorry, so that the variables and the value of each variable isn't not compromised, isn't shared between different users and between different requests. So you need to be really careful with that. And I didn't want to go through this, to be honest, to have to figure out this, how to send the notifications in here and then just to send the updates to the client. So that is the reason why I didn't do event I always forget, event source, that it's called server sent events, I think it's the name. So the way that we're going to be using this, we are going to be using the same fetch call, but we are going to be using something that it's going to be reading some messages that the server is going to be sending through that same connection. Okay, so there's no additional requests, there's no polling, there's no two-side communication. I don't have to add any other endpoint, so it looks like it's the way to do it. I already did it. I have in here some of the notes on how to do it, but I want to do it again in this session. So it's going to be a little bit different than the previous sessions, because in the previous sessions we were working on this at the same, like, together. But now, because it's something new for me, this like this type of connections or notifications, that's why I want to I have the notes, and I'm going to be going through, like, working on the notes and developing in here, and then, like, explaining what's going on. Okay, so that's the reasoning behind the selection of the method and which method to use. So let's get started. So okay, so we're basically going to be working with two files: the contents controller, that it's the controller that receives the request to generate the content, and the main.js, that it's the one that manages the requests in the front end, that asks for the request and then generates the, like, handles how to show the answer. So for example, right now, if I go to the service, so I think, yeah. Okay, so let's restart. I'm going to just run it in here, and This is going to work, but it's not going to show me the notifications. So for example, right now, this YouTube URL that I already sent um, was already transcribed, but the user didn't detected that it was already transcribed. It wasn't transcribed in a sense because it's already stored in the database. It's something that I developed, I think, the past session. Um, so it's just getting the transcription of that video from my database. But nevertheless, I want to tell the user that that step has already been done, and this is not telling the user about it. Okay, so this is how it's working right now, and we're going to start working on these notifications. It already did the post. um it's not perfect. We still need to work on these things. There are several things in here that we need to work. I'm not going to focus on those things right now. It's not the focus. It's not in the scope of this video. We are for sure going to do it in a moment, but not right now. So I just detected an error in here. This is V, not V, like V, like vocals, not I don't know, boat. So this is an error, and I will need to fix it if I publish this article. Okay, so that is how it's working right now. So now let's go to how we're going to be working on this. So let's go to the code. So first, we are going to start by working on main.js. So in here, so first we're going to move. Okay, so basically this is the notifications that we're going to be showing. So basically, so I can leave this like this. Output response. So I can modify this from response to from output response to just response. Okay, and then this is correct. So it isn't. I can work on this. I can have it like with a better format to read it like this. Okay, and I moved it just here, and I'm going to take this like this. Okay, so now what's going to be doing the magic? It's in here. In here I'm going to add, look how it's trying to add an event source. We are not going to work with that. We are going to add a variable called reader. Okay, so reader, it's going to be equal, it's going to be assigned to response.body that get reader. So what is this doing? Basically it's telling my JavaScript script, or yes, a script code, that this fetch request is going to be being constantly updated using like a stream, using sending information as not as like, it can be used to send information as soon as you are as soon as the server is generating it. So we are configuring this request, this fetch request, to work in a different, telling it that it's going to work in a slightly different way. So we are not going to send everything in one go. It's going to be updated with several events from the server. So that is what's making the magic. It's not only that, but this is how we're telling the script how it's going to be, how this is going to work. Then we are going to be working with this, as you can see, that decoder. It's going to be a variable, and it's going to be with using a text decoder UTF dash 8. So what's going on in here is that the that text, the content that is being sent from the server is being sent not exactly with the characters, but with I don't want to misterm this. I don't want to use terms that are not like exactly used exactly or used 100% correctly, but it's kind of like bytes, not bytes, but um, like how when you work with AI APIs, you work with tokens. So it's kind of like that. Maybe I can show when we are working how does this look. Maybe I'm going to try to do it because when I was working on it, I was seeing it. Then it was how do you say solved. But I want to show it just to so that you get a how do you say it an image of how does it look, okay, and why is this needed. And then we are going to be working with the reader stream. So this is going to be a JSON object. This is a dictionary. So well, that's how it's called in Python. In JSON maybe it has a different name, but so we're going to be using JSON to check if some keys exist, and if they exist, we are going to do something related to those keys depending on the keys. So that's how we are going to tell the website in which step we are at, okay. So then we're going to make a while loop. It's not going to be exactly this. I'm going to change this, but this is basic. This is the structure. So while true. So what does while true does? So like 100% of the time, this is going to be true because it's not a variable. It's not changing. So while true. So that means we automatically go inside this loop, and we are only going to get out of this loop if something tells, if there's a code, a string in here that tells it to break the loop. So in this case, it's going to be break. But if I break it without a statement, a conditional, well, the loop is not going to work. We need to have some logic in here to make it work exactly how we want it to. Okay, so why is this not going to be running infinitely or like lots of times? Because we have in here an await. So this await, so the script is going to be waiting for when it gets a new message in the reader, and the reader being this. So each time that we get new messages in the reader via chunks, this is going to solve this await promise is going to be solving. It's going to generate another loop, so it's going to be able to continue, and then if nothing happens, it's going to go inside the while loop again. Okay, so that is what's working, what's making the magic. So okay, so this this is like the default way to work on this, like using value and using done assigned to reader than read. But we are not going to work. We are going to do it a little bit different. So I'm here. So okay, so I have in here. Let's do it. Okay, let's do it in here like this. I'm going to remove the done. We are not going to use the done. We are just going to use value, and it's going to be a constant. Yes. So now I'm going to delete this because we are not using the done variable. So now we have the decoded value in here, and actually let's I'm going to not use this right now because I want to show you the value of the reader. So I'm going to console log value, and right now I'm going to just comment this out. And what are we going to do? Okay, so we're going to wait, And so now, hopefully this is not going to generate an error, because if it generates an error, my browser can um, get crazy, and I will need to close this stream, because it happening right now when I was working on this, I was getting some errors, like the while loop was running indefinitely, and my CPU usage went to the roofs. It started the fans in the laptop, and also I needed to close all the browser tabs and windows for it to stop. So hopefully it's not going to happen in here. Let's see. um I think it shouldn't happen because of the await. The thing is that, okay, so this is how we are going to control it in this. So in here, what do we need to do? So just to remember what's refresh, what's doing this. So it's getting the request, and it's getting the video ID, and it's searching if the video it's already transcribed in our database. If it is transcribed, that is our video transcript, and if not, it is generated using Gemini. And if and when it's generated, it's the transcription is saved in our database for the next time, like any user wants to generate a, an article using that video, it's going to be saved. Okay, so in here we are going to add this. So response, and I'm going to explain what response that right. And yeah, this is exactly what we need. So for example, response, this is the response object from Adonis. So Adonis is the framework that I'm using, at least up to my knowledge. And then this response is Node.js, that is the server, or yes, the server where this is running, where the framework is running. So Adonis allows us to access the response object of our server. So that is why we are writing response.response. And this response has a method called write, where we can add information, and this is exactly what's going to be sent in here. Okay, so I'm just going to return in here, and let's hope that this doesn't make me close the browser. So okay, so let's start. Let's see what are we getting as value. Okay, so let's go to our browser, and I'm just going to reload it. So for example, if I go in here and I try to reload it, it's going to give me, well, it's not going to work. And then if I run this, and this is going to show me the database, not the database, the app. Okay, so now okay, so now let's okay, so let's run with this transcription. Let's do F12, and I just need to select in here a style, and let's convert to a blog post. Okay, so look how we are receiving. This is the value that was sent, and as you can see, it's a bunch of numbers that doesn't make any sense because we haven't decoded this value. Okay, so that's what the decoder it's doing. It's converting these numbers to UTF, to characters that we know how to read, that like normal text. So that's why we need the decoder. So for example, we are going to Okay, so now we have this. So we have the decoder in here, and we have it like this. So what is this doing? We are decoding the value, and that value it's being parsed as JSON. In here you can see that I'm sending a JSON with its key, and this key it's true. So what we are telling them? We're telling the application that this that it is true that the video transcription has been obtained. Okay, so if this key exists in the information that we are sending, it means that it is true, that we have already gone through that step. So why are we doing it like this? Because like in here, because if I don't parse it as a JSON, then I'm not going to be able to send the text output, the generated content, because it's not going to be able to read it if we don't use JSON. If we just use a string, I'm going to need to have like identifiers to know where the generated content starts and where does it end. And it's not really robust, so it's really fragile if I do it like this. So that's why I'm going to be using JSON and adding the JSON value that was just decoded to the to this reader stream, where the generated content it's going to be saved with just one key. So I don't need to have any start and finish strings or identifiers or characters. It's going to be stored in just one key, so I can access that value more easier. Okay, so now, okay, so but this is not telling the script when should it break that while loop. So we need to add that logic. So we are going to add it in here. So as you can see, so in here, this is what we're doing. If render.stream, sorry, if render stream that video transcript obtained, this is the key that we are getting in this JSON. So we're sending this JSON with this key, and if that key exists and is true, we are going to break this cycle. Okay, so okay, so before we go into this, I just want to show you what is the new like how does this look after it has been decoded using the decoder. So I'm going to console log the reader stream. Okay, so let's select this and let's in here. So in here we don't have anymore the garbage, like the numbers. We already have what those numbers mean. It has been decoded. Okay, so now I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to add in here the breakpoint. So that's if break else, and I need this. It's going to be pasted here. So now if in here, okay, so it was deleted, but if you remember, it was a key in this JSON. So if that key exists and is true, and its value is true, we're going to break in here. So let's add some identifiers, just to some logs, just to visualize what's going on in here. So for example, we are going to go in here like first while, and this is one. Okay, and then we are going to add another console log, reader stream. Okay, reader stream first while one. Okay, like this. And then I'm going to add in here something that is called breaking first while. And then in here, I'm going to go to, okay, like this. Let's add all of this. So like this. Let's add a lot of information. So now if I request this, look what's going on in here. So it says first while 1. So what does this mean? I'm going to have it in here and in here. So I'm going to close this. Okay. So now this says first while 1. Okay, so where is it? So first while 1. Then we go to reader stream first while 1, and it doesn't have anything. Then we go to, so we don't go inside these if statements, and we go directly to the else. So we have first while 2. Then we are printing that value that hasn't been decoded. Then we decode it. Like this is waiting for the value that is going to be sent by the server. Okay. So then it is decoded and it's shown in here with this reader stream first while 2. So now we have the value here. So now we go again inside the while loop because it hasn't been break. It still hasn't been breaked. So then we print this first while again in here. Then this reader stream already has this key. So video transcript obtained, it's already in here. So now when we use this if, it detects that the if exists and it's true, and it breaks the first while, and we go out of the while loop, and that's why we get an error, because we are getting to other things that we still don't have. Okay, so that is the cycle of this loop. So hopefully that makes it like a little bit easier to understand what's going on in here. So let's continue working. I'm going to delete these console logs. We don't need them. We just need the logic. Okay, but in here we do need to generate a notification. So if you remember, this didn't generate any notification in here, that the transcript was generated. So now I'm going to add it in here. So okay, so here, okay, I'm comparing this code to the code that I already have, just to be sure that everything's working. Okay, so so we're going to generate that notification in here using render notification, and this is running this is using a function that it's being defined in here from notification.js. So so basically this, what it does is, I'm going to open this file. So basically we can send, we use a function, and depending if in the type of notification, the colors of the text and the background, and we can add the text in here when we use a function, and how long we want it to last. Okay, so that's basically what it's doing in here. So video transcript was obtained, and I want this to wait to have a duration of 3 seconds. And what else in here? Okay, so we already have we already have the notification of video transcript obtained. So I'm going to delete this. And okay. And in here, we are going to add another while through loop. Okay. So in here, I'm going to send. Okay. So in here, we already sent when the video transcript was obtained. And now that the content is going to be generated and it's going to be assigned to text output. It's going to be saved. Right now we are not doing anything with this. We're just saving it. Later on, I'm going to show you how to. Well, I'm going to show how to show it or what we can do with it. But the other thing is that we need to add in here another JSON stringify with content generated, but this is not going to be true. So in here, we are going to assign this value to the content generated, and in this way, with just one message sent, we are already adding the value that we need. So we are saving one message to be sent, to be written. Okay, and now in here, I just want to be sure that we are ending this connection where we want to send to tell the client that the response has ended. So now this is irrelevant. So I'm just going to add it like this because I'm already sending the text output in here. So I don't need to send it again. But I want to use return just to make sure that the server, in this case, because this is running in the server, it's that we are closing this request, just to make sure that this function was closed successfully. And this, I tested this in my local environment. I still need to test this in a production environment. It's going to be later, not today. Like, it's going to take some time. But I'm going to, if there's any issue or problem or something that I wasn't seeing when I was developing this, for sure I'm going to make a video explaining what's going on and what are the changes that I'm going to be making. Okay, but for the moment, in this test environment, at least, it's going to, well, yes, it's going to work because, well, it was already it already worked before, so it should work. So now, okay, so in here I have another while true. So now if this content generated exists, we're going to break. Okay, with the next thing, it's everything's the same. So these variables, as far as I know, can be initialized again because they are inside a loop, so they are just working inside a loop. Okay, but reader stream is in here, so the values that we are adding reader stream, they are persisting even though the while loop it's ending. Okay, so what else do I have in here? So now response content, it's going to be, so in here I have it as text output, and this is reader stream dot content generated. So this value, the value in here, and this is going to be like this. So I could do this directly, but maybe I'm going to need this later on. and so I'm going to add it to its own variable. Okay, so now what else? Okay, looks like I think it's already everything that I have in here. Okay, so I'm going to delete this space, and I think it's everything that I have in here. So what about if I run this and wait, so let's use professional and convert. Okay, so in here now we can see that the video transcript was obtained. If you saw that notification, that's exactly what I wanted to do. So the user now knows that at least the transcript has been made. And this can take this can take a while. It takes like a minute and a half to for this to generate the content. Let's wait a moment in here just to see that it is indeed working. Okay. So let's change the music in here. So let's do a little bit of R&B. Okay, so now it was generated. We don't have any error, and we have the we have this. So now if I go to in here, you can see that this was generated 70 seconds ago. That it's this one's it's the same as this one. So that's basically what I wanted to do. I'm pretty happy with the result. I'm still missing things, like for example in here the title is not being generated or saved in here, and also for example I think okay it's in here. I can change between HTML and text. I can copy it. So for example, if I go to Notepad, I can paste it in here. It was copied as text, and I'm going to delete this. Now if I go to HTML, I can copy the HTML as this, and I can share, but I don't know if this is going to work. So yes, this is still not working. So there are still some things that are missing, but I'm pretty happy with what has been with the result. So if you need to do something like this in your application, now you know how to do it. And yes, it looks really easy, and it is really easy. So that's why I'm happy with the result, because to get to here, I need to be honest, it take me all day long, like researching, and then like when I was eating, or I don't know, went outside to continue thinking about this, and just 1 hour 2 hours ago it was I cracked the code, and it looks, I think it looks easy, but to get to this I needed to went through the event source, the server sent event, and also think about polling or WebSockets, or research if there was another way. So these were my notes. As you can see, it's the code that I have been working, and this is it, and this is it. So yes, so that's basically all in this video. It was a quick session. Okay, I just want to show you the server. So the errors that we are getting, are not related to what we are working right now. It is related to it not finding this file, but it's irrelevant for what we are working on. So we can be sure that this is working. So That's all in this session. It was a quick session. It was a Sunday section, Sunday section, late Sunday section. Thank you for being in here. If I can help you in anything, please send me a message or leave me a comment or get in touch.